Our top story today, the Senate investigation into extrajudicial killings. We now speak with Senator Leila de Lima live from the Senate. Good morning, Senator. Welcome to Newsroom.
Good morning, Ameline. Good morning to your viewers.
So the Senate investigation on the spate of killings related to the anti-drug campaign will begin today. What are you prepared for in today's hearing?
Oh, well, of course, this is the opening, and there would be certain preliminary matters. There would be opening statements, of course, from me as the chair of the Committee on Justice and Human Rights, and also from the chair of the Committee on Public Order and Illegal Drugs, and also other senators who would wish to deliver their respective opening statements. And we would also ask our resource persons to also deliver their respective opening statements if they so desire. And then hopefully we can already begin with the presentation of our witnesses, because this is a public inquiry. This is basically fact-finding. This is truth-telling. This is not a court of law, but simply a fact-finding body.
Now, we understand that you have proposals, and one of which is to have stricter rules on police operations. What do you believe should change, or what do you believe should be added to this to improve it?
Well, there are actually a few proposals already, but the committee would rather hear first the proposals and suggestions of the concerned agencies, particularly the Philippine National Police, the Internal Affairs Service, and of course, also from the Commission on Human Rights. Because you see, we know that there are operational guidelines respecting that matter. Now, in fact, I remember that when I was still with the Commission on Human Rights, the CHR helped the PNP draft those operational guidelines. Now, we would want to know, what is the current operational guidelines? Have this been changed already? Have this been modified or amended already by the current or previous leaderships of the PNP? So we'd rather that we first hear from them what are their proposals, although at my level, I do have some ideas already.
Mm-hmm. And which you would like to present to the public later on as well, ma'am? Those ideas?
It really depends on the discussions later, because what is important today and tomorrow is to be able to hear the accounts of the witnesses as well as the reports of the various agencies, particularly the PNP, on the statistics of the killings. Why is this happening? Are these cases of killings being investigated, etc.? So all other discussions with respect to the possible laws, it really depends on the senators, individual senators, whether or not they would want also to touch on those matters in the course of their questioning of either the witnesses or the resource persons. But those matters can actually be discussed also in other meetings or hearings of the committee.
Now, the president laments that police are also killed in the ongoing anti-drug operations, and he said that it's an average of 2 or 3 during these operations. Will you look into that as well?
We can also look into that. If that is raised, if that is included in the report that we are expecting from the PNP leadership, then I don't see any reason why we won't look into that also. But of course, the focus is on these killings of alleged drug suspects in the name of the so-called war on drugs.
Ma'am, how will you ensure that despite last week's or these statements hurled against you, that this inquiry will be fair?
I am a fair, professional, and responsible public official. So I guarantee everyone that as the presiding officer of this inquiry, I will conduct the proceedings in the most professional manner, giving due courtesy and respect to our resource persons and witnesses, because that is in fact provided in our own rules.
Ma'am, do you think you have supporters or not much supporters in the Senate? And if so, is it important for you to gain more support from the Senate?
Well, I do believe that many or most of the senators support this inquiry because it is such a big issue. It has even attracted already the attention of the international community. International media networks are reporting this phenomenon of summary executions. And I won't be surprised if they will also be covering this inquiry. So I know that the majority, if not most of the senators, and in fact maybe all of the senators, really support this. There is no denying the fact that this is a very important issue of public interest and national importance, and this is something bigger than Senator Laila de Lima.
Now, the President has criticized you with regard to how inmates at the Bilibid prison during your term as Secretary of Justice had enjoyed immense privileges. He questions why this was so, if not for having the blessings from higher officials. And as a matter of fact, there's a possible probe at the House of Representatives with regard to this. What's your reaction?
I have responded to that accusation, to that allegation, to that insinuation many times already.
Okay, so
and it's up to the House of Representatives if they will proceed with that House inquiry. Let's see what are the real objectives of that inquiry. Other than that, I would not want to comment on that.
Now, on the drug controversy allegedly concerning your former driver, in an interview, you've denied having your driver get money from drug lords on your behalf, but is it possible that your driver could have engaged in such an illegal activity without your knowledge?
I would not want to be answering those questions at this point. What I can say at this point, by way of reiteration, is that I am not in any way connected, linked to, or involved in drugs. That's all I need to assert. I stand by that assertion. I stand by my innocence up to my last breath.
Now, the President hinted that your driver, Mr. Dayan, may turn against you. And I understand that you already have knowledge that there may be people your colleagues or other individuals who have been spoken to speak against you. Now, wouldn't it be better if Mr. Dayan would present himself to clear your name?
Again, I would not want to touch on that, Ameline. I'm sorry. I'd rather that we focus on the inquiry because precisely in the last few days, perhaps, I don't know, wittingly or unwittingly, some elements have been trying to distract or divert the real issue at hand. The very issue at hand is the issue of summary executions, extralegal killings or extrajudicial killings, EJKs or ELKs, including the so-called vigilante killings. That is what this inquiry is all about.
Okay, now the President has said, I'd just like to quote him, Senator De Lima. He said that the Nopales case should deserve a second look, or else also it involves corruption and De Lima. What do you have to say about that?
I'd like to think that's another diversionary tactic being employed in an effort to possibly block or derail the Senate inquiry. That has always been, again, another old issue. That is, again, a rehashed issue. And again, just like the alleged drug connection or my involvement in drugs, I flatly, vehemently, categorically deny any irregularity on my part in any of the matters affecting the Nopales and the PDAF case. They have not even what specified, explained why there is a need for a so-called second look at the Nopales case. Again, a clear squid diversionary tactic. It's so unfortunate.
Okay, and last question, ma'am. Amidst all these things that are happening to you right now, how are you holding up?
I'm okay. I've always been strong. I'm used to all these types of challenges and crises in my life. This is just one of them. With the help and guidance of the Lord, I will weather this storm.
Thank you so much for speaking to us this morning, Senator De Lima, and we will be watching and monitoring the Senate investigation this morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ameline. Good day to all.